Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv, and there is a lot that happened over the past week. I'm not going to be able to go through all of it because we're using that to also look forward, right? So things like, the big two SHIB developers are talking about how the outlook going forward looks great. And if you're paying attention, the SHIB price has reacted positively, right? You also have Doge, XRP, and Cardano also surging, which was a big deal. Bitcoin is just doing the Bitcoin thing, right? So you've got it going up. You had a whole bunch of outflows happen with Grayscale. Still, you have miners that aren't doing so hot, but are making strategic moves in buying and investing in new facilities. That means they're looking to grow their power from, not power in terms of consumption, but power in terms of handling the halving event. That's going to be a very big deal because they're going to be hurting if they don't upgrade. Right. So that's tremendous. Then you have Bitcoin. Just if you look at the price of Bitcoin right now, it's only a hair away from that 69,000 number. It's only a hair away. And if you look at the Bitcoin price right now, this is the longest we've stayed at this kind of a number for a long time. Do I think that we're going to hit an all-time high within the next couple of weeks? Dare I say hell to the yes. Do I subscribe to the idea that immediately following the halving event, you're going to see Bitcoin crash? No. And there's a reason why. So if you look at Bitcoin and you look at how it's moving right now, more importantly, you look at how it is being used and how it is being held. Everybody that's buying Bitcoin right now, they have no plans of selling it. Like, ever. They're all going to do the Michael Saylor and they're going to hold it. And what they're going to do is they will leverage the value of their Bitcoin to get more money to do other things. That's the way I see it happening. In terms of everyday use, there are other coins out there that can handle normal everyday transactions. From, long shots like Bitcoin Cash and Stellar to our tried and true coins like Solana, even Ethereum, Cardano, right? XRP is not really there for the regular transaction. That's what XLM is for. Cardano is fast and secure, and its reliability and scalability, unquestioned. It's just awesome. Solana, growing. Had a little bit of a network problem. What happened? Solved it like that. That's what we're looking for, resiliency. So when I look at Bitcoin, and I analyze all of the other coins that are out there and how they're used, how they're being leveraged. I mean, look at VeChain. ARK Invest and 21 Shares for their Bitcoin spot ETF are using VeChain to demonstrate their transparency with regard to their Bitcoin reserves. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and just go, wow. Because that's a tiny little, coin out there, tiny little project, but they do certain things really, really well. I pay attention to coins and tokens that do a specific use case really, really well. And VeChain, supply chain management, transparency, they do those things well. And they're making noise, as well as they are trying to grow their space. Pay attention to what's going on with that. Really. Pay attention to VeChain, pay attention to VeThor. There are other things that are coming up. My son is holding on to a big bag. Him and his friend are holding on to a big bag of Floki. And you've got to pay attention to some of these coins because they might not have everyday names, but they're doing some really cool things. And coins like Floki are above that $1 billion mark. They've got a little ways to go before they hit that 2 billion and beyond, but they're above that 1 billion mark. And that's where I'm really paying attention. I did some research yesterday and the top 100 coins are right there at the $1 billion mark. And then there's a precipitous drop. The top 100 coins, they're mucking around in the $1 billion mark and above, obviously. So I'm paying attention to things like that because as I look back at what's going on, it's helping me to look forward. Look at Ripple. Ripple's partnered with the Axelar Foundation and Zonic. Why? Because they want to bring more services. Zonic is going to revolutionize digital asset management. And let's see, XLR Foundation is going to help them secure and bring privacy to the XRPL blockchain, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm just going, yeah, these are all things that are going on right now, right? That are going to affect the future, which is why I always take some time to look back before I look forward. It's a very big deal. That must happen. If you're doing proper research, you're not just looking at what's affecting you right now. You look at what's affecting you immediately, like near term, midterm, long term. Those partnerships that I just rattled off, those are long-term effects. So look at it like this. You had Minecraft say, no, we're not playing around with NFTs. That stance ignited a whole bunch of projects to say, we're going to do our own thing then. So you've got this new project, Hytopia, born specifically for that reason. They, NFTs got this. So they said, well, fine, we'll build our own. I saw the graphics. It's kind of cool. Now, I'm not hyping them up. Sorry for the pun. That's right. Their name is Hytopia. I'm not hyping them up, but I love when people say, oh, really? Hold my beer. Love that. Absolutely love that. And you've got a lot of apps out there, a lot of dApps out there that are saying exactly that. Oh, you don't want us to play at your big boy table, your big girl table? Not a problem. We got you. We got you. Hold my beer. And we're going to do something that's going to be more fun, more inclusive, more decentralized, and just demonstrating what they're capable of. Do I think it was a mistake? I think there are a lot of companies out there that are living the Kodak moment, the AOL, not the AOL moment. Yeah, no, the AOL moment. The biggest one has got to be Kodak, though. I told you about this before. Kodak, biggest camera company in the world, did not embrace digital cameras fast enough. And what happened? Yeah. People without this stuff on their face, this color stuff on their face, have no idea what the hell Kodak is. No idea. None. And that's why. You know who Nikon is? You question the cameras on your phones because you want better cameras. That's what happened to them. They didn't pay attention to the future. They did not pay attention to the future. They thumbed their noses at it, and the future made them pay. And I'm looking at traditional apps, traditional games, and I'm saying to myself, if you guys don't get involved in this space, some of these games are mad cool. Some of the graphics on these games, as computer processing gets faster and faster and faster, you're going to lose out. They're not just talking about creating a game in a box, maybe joining a couple of few players. No, they're talking about getting the whole world involved, and through interoperability, allowing them to move from one metaverse to the next metaverse, looking the same, having their toys. That's going to be a very big deal. Yep. There's a movie, Ready Player One. Sounds ridiculous. The movie, is a little bit ridiculous until you actually start peeling back the layers of that movie. And then you actually start to realize, holy crap, from a metaverse perspective, Now, the term metaverse and what it means and what it stands for has not been fully developed, fully baked yet. But what it can do now and what it will be able to do in the future, that's there. The reason why I go into all of this is because I'm paying attention to any project that is going to have a viable metaverse play. I'm looking at you, Shiba Inu. I'm looking at you, Zai. I'm looking at you, Gala. I'm looking at you, what was the other one? I'm going to kill myself if I don't get it. And I even invested in it. I know I'm holding a little bit of a bag in it. Who is it, Flow? I don't know, but there's another one. But there are a few projects out there that are doing a lot, in the metaverse. And don't sleep on Decentraland and Sandbox. Don't. That would be a bad idea. There are lots of other games, lots of other projects coming along that are gonna eat their lunch a little bit, but they've been around for a long time. They're already established. Axie Infinity is another one. You have all of these places, all of these projects, all of these games, all of these people moving and working in the right direction to build and innovate. Big deal. So when I look at projects, I'm making my list and I'm going, what are you doing? What's your use case? How good are you at your use case? What other coins and projects are at your use case level or attacking that same use case? What's their take on it? And then how do the projects and coins compare? Straight up. Then you have, coins and projects like Chili's that are saying, hey, look, listen, we're getting in bed with real live sports and we're increasing that we're enhancing that fan experience. Yeah, it's going to be huge. So I always look back so that I have the capability and knowledge to look forward. So if you look at all my videos this week, we covered cryptocurrency market trends and developments, regulatory changes and legal battles, eight, not 7, not 6, 8 different state attorneys general are going after the SEC via an amicus brief that they filed in the SEC versus Kraken case. They're not necessarily going up against the SEC and saying the case is wrong. They're not saying the case is right. What they're saying is the SEC has no business bringing this case. It should be handled at the state level. Ooh, that's big. It's big for a couple of reasons, right? From a regulatory compliance perspective, the SEC is handling things from an overreach perspective. Here's the other problem with that. It also says that there's no federal law or regulation or anything, guardrails, that's actually going to help from a national level how things happen, which means that you would have 8 states that would have 8 different ways to handle everything. So any company would have to deal with each state separately. Do you know how expensive, how time consuming, how annoying that is? And it's easier just to move out of country and do it from another country because their rules and regulations won. I'm telling you, the United States has better get its act together. Not just with regard to stable coins, but just the normal guardrails that we expect. So when you think about that, you have, Gemini saying, we're going to give back 100%, $1.1 billion, something like that, of all the money that was locked up from the Genesis Earn program. Genesis has gone, belly up, right? And they had to do that because New York made them do it. Cool. That's awesome. That's great. But that's New York. So that would mean that Texas, Iowa, California, Maine, just everywhere would have their own rules. That makes it excruciatingly difficult to do business. Even more difficult to be innovative. So you've got to start thinking about how that works. Again, a pragmatic approach to regulatory compliance from the US government would be ridiculously helpful. Stop trying to fight the industry. It's not going anywhere. It's proven time and time again. The cryptoverse is growing, not diminishing. Each time you squeeze, it gets bigger, it gets stronger. What's actually driving the growth and adoption of the cryptoverse right now? Huge institutional investment in Bitcoin spot ETFs. Yeah, because now everybody wants to know what's going on with Bitcoin. I keep hearing about Bitcoin. Maybe I should put my money in Bitcoin, but I don't really want my money in Bitcoin. Hence the spot ETF. Feel me? That's first step. Second step, what happens? Well, I have my money in there and it's growing, but I feel like I don't know enough about it. So we start learning more about the Bitcoin spot ETF. We start learning more about cryptocurrencies in general. Because after Bitcoin, then you start learning about Ethereum and Solana and Cardano and their use cases. Same thing with Ripple and stable coins. And the more you know, the more it grows, the more values go up, the more people are going to want to be involved. There will be those people that just be like, nah, I'm not interested, not doing it. Cool, not a problem. That's on you. How you manage your money is how you manage your money. I still want you to be educated about how money works. I want you to be educated about how digital currencies work. I want you to be educated about what are the parameters, macro events, micro events that affect pricing, affect liquidity, affect availability. Bitcoin is limited. It's not growing. I'm not going to, once it reaches 100%, now it'll be years before we reach that number, but still, once you reach that number, that's it. There's no more. Done. Finito. So you have to start learning about, well, here's Bitcoin, here are its use cases. Here's Ethereum, here's all of the other coins, and here are their use cases and how they're being leveraged. That's when I start paying attention, right? You have a surge in crypto investments, big surge, right? Trading volumes in Bitcoin spot ETFs, huge. I mean, BlackRock alone has over $10 billion in assets under management just for their Bitcoin spot ETF. Just for that. Multi-trillion-dollar company, and they're going to continue to grow. You've got a guy supposedly called Mr. 100. I'm going to call them they 100, okay? Because I don't know if they're male or female. And they're buying crazy amounts of Bitcoin every day. And they've been doing so for a while now. And it's got to make you stop and wonder. It's the same thing with the real estate market. You have all these different companies that are going out there and buying up properties, buying up single family home properties, starter homes. Yeah, that's not a myth. That's a reality. Those companies are treating it just like Bitcoin. Are they going to sell those properties like ever? No, they're going to rent them out. They're going to rent them out to the workers. When you think about a dystopian future, and I'm not trying to give you conspiracy theory. I'm just telling you about the facts that are out there right now. You have huge corporations via totally different entities and companies and LLCs and all those kinds of things and trusts and all that kinds of that are buying, starter homes. They're not there to buy them and then sell them. They're there to hold them and rent them. They're going to make money off that rental market like nobody's business. And they're going to hold on to that rental market just like Bitcoin. Which means that you need to have your money work for you. You cannot have a regular job and expect that you're going to do well. I was speaking with somebody today and she said, I have a great job. I love what I do. I'm doing what I got to do and everything. And I just got my bonus. Well, how was it? You're lucky you got a bonus. She was like, yeah, kind of. I'm thankful for the bonus, but the bonus was only 3%. Inflation is 7%. So I got a pay cut. Yeah. Unless your bonus reflects the amount of money or reflects at least an even number compared to inflation, you've taken a pay cut. So if inflation is 7%, you need a 7% bonus just to be even. And we all know that, companies like, I'm not going to name names, that would be mean. You have large companies that are making big money, pulling big profits, CEOs that are being paid big dollars, executives that are making big dollars. Meanwhile, the lower level employees get 3% bonuses. Wow. Wow. That dystopian idea is already here. So you've got to become educated on how to make your money work for you. While you're working for the money, you need your money working for you. It used to be that you put your money in a savings account, had a little bit of money in the checking account to pay your bills. Maybe you had a money market. Maybe you had yourself a little CD, lock up your money, and then maybe they pay you a little bit interest. Yeah, do the math on those right now. Do the math. Leaving your money in a savings account is going to get you, the most I've seen is 4.5% for a year. That does not match inflation. Meanwhile, probably the bank that you have the money in is pulling big profit off of the aggregate money that they receive from people like you. So my strong suggestion is do your own research on how you can make your money work for you. It's just that simple. People ask me why I'm so into crypto. I'm not just into crypto. Crypto, real estate, stocks, options, my own business. Right? Not everybody can have their own business. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. But that doesn't mean that you can't be an investor. Really and true. Invest. Do your own research on investment is what I would say. This is what I taught my kids. Because truthfully, I don't want my kids to leave the house until they can afford their own outright. You used to be able to do that. The generation before me used to be able to do that. You can't do that now. The salaries don't match. The salaries didn't go up the way housing prices went up. So you can't do that. I had another conversation with another friend of mine, and I said, if you sold your house, where would you live? And they said, in a shack. And, we both giggled and it was funny. But I listened to that and I said, why would you say that you would live in a shack? Because I wouldn't be able to buy another house in the neighborhood that I live in, even with the money that I get from the house that I have, because those houses are probably costing even more. So what's the point of selling the house? But then going to another area changes my lifestyle. So I might be able to buy another house, but it won't be here where I want to be. So could I afford to buy another house? Maybe, in a totally another area. Right? Then I'm looking at nurses. I'm doing business with Donna Curran of Curran Care. Donna Curran of currancare.com. And, we're having a discussion about Iowa and this new bill. This new bill says that travel nurses are going to have their wages capped. These people that travel the country saving lives are now being told in Iowa, or could be told in Iowa if this bill passes, that you can only make but so much money. Name another industry that's happening in. And I give this to you as an example that says, you're not going to make enough. Most likely, most people, you're not going to make enough to get rich. You're either going to hit the lottery, ha ha ha, or you're going to have a little side gig that's going to help get you to where you need to be. Some people have just said, you know what? I know I'm going to be working for the rest of my life, and I've bought into that, and I'm done. I'm cool. I've made my bones with it. I'm all right. Okay. But it still doesn't mean that you can't invest. It still doesn't mean that you can't have your money work for you, which is why I do all this research, because one day I'm going to have grandkids. Well, not me, but my kids. Hopefully they'll give me grandkids. A lot of people are opting out of babies, but I know at least two of my kids want kids. So hopefully I'll be a grandpa. Not soon. But I'm just looking at everything and I'm just saying, there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to learn about. So if you look above my head, it says first class, April 2nd, 2024. I should have the book already printed and the class, pre-sales ready to go a couple of weeks before that. So we can have people in there so I can share with you the foundations of crypto so that you can learn how it all works. I'm not going to teach you how to buy and all that good stuff. For the people out there that are just learning, this is going to be a great resource for you to have, not only as a physical book. You're going to get a physical book with this class. You'll have the class and a physical book, and we're going to do the class in two different flavors. One is going to be live. The second is going to be as online recordings with yours truly. So if you've got questions, you've got things that you want, I'd strongly advise you take the class. It's going to be relatively cheap. I'm not going to make it expensive. I've been at this for a while. I have a lot of information that I can share, and I'll continue sharing. But that's what we're doing. So when I look forward for everything that happened last week, let's just rifle through it real quick. Doge, XRP, Cardano, Surge, Doge and Shiba Inu. There's a new version of them called Bonk and Whiff, and they're both surging. I wouldn't call them new versions of them, but of the time, Bonk and Shiba Inu are the other meme coins that are rising. Shiba Inu, or Bonk and WIF are the coins that are rising. Shiba Inu has graduated way beyond meme coin. Doge hasn't, but Doge gets used. Doge's utilization is ridiculous. That's something I pay attention to as well. Not just the market cap, but their trading volume. Because most of these coins aren't really being traded. They're being used. People didn't realize that. Especially in the United States. They don't realize that these coins are being used in other countries. Yeah, people are paying for stuff using crypto. I told you about the attorneys general. You have mining regulations over power consumption. That's a battle that's going on. Excuse me. And some of those miners are going after the SEC and going after other parts of the federal government. You have the IRS hire a couple of people from the crypto space to help them understand how they should approach crypto regulation. You have Binance Labs actually endorsing this this project called Babylon, because they want to revolutionize how they do Bitcoin staking on the platform. Otherpage and Magic Eden are doing a collaboration to understand, to better implement transparency, and as well as, your own person. Go over the article. All the articles are on the website, as well as, in this week's previous videos. Ethereum's Denkun upgrade, that's an event. Ripple, not just with Axelar Foundation, forming a partnership there, but also with Zonix. Zonix is for digital asset management, and Axelar Foundation is to bring in stronger features to the XRPL blockchain. Right? Then I told you about BlackRock hitting $10 billion. Well, obviously now it's way over $10 billion in assets under management just for their Bitcoin spot ETF. Gemini ready to give back 100% of the money that they have locked up because of Genesis Earn program. The vision for Shiba Inu has been unlocked or spoken about by the two top developers of that project. That's huge. Charles Hoskinson, you pay attention to this guy, over there at Input Output, the major developer of Cardano. Cardano it's a sleeper, but everything's been rising. Look at the numbers that are out there. Everything's been rising. I've been waiting for a pullback. Like, I was looking at Solana. I wanted to get more Solana. I took a shave. When Solana hit about $134, I shaved some off because it had reached like 137 and pulled back a little bit to 134. And I was like, you know what? Let me take some profit. So I took out some profit. I was expecting to go down to like 125, maybe even 120. It hasn't done it yet. Because obviously I want to buy back in at those levels. So I'm looking at how these things are working, and I'm just sitting back and just saying, wow. Then you have crypto miners buying into new facilities around the country, spending big money on it. Those are big deals. That's what makes me look forward and go, well, what's going to happen this week? I think there's going to be more growth. I really think there's going to be more growth, because I'm looking at, independent financial advisors saying, hey, we're going to start selling, those Bitcoin ETFs and helping you manage your money. We're going to start doing that. And that means that more people are going to become more educated, and that cycle keeps going. We're in a totally different space than the last bull run, completely different. We didn't have Bitcoin spot ETFs. We didn't have the halving event coming up. We didn't have the talk of other ETFs. May or may not happen, but Shiba Inu, XRP, and Ethereum are all at the top of the list for people saying, hey, we want a spot ETF for these. What does that say? That people are signing petitions to do that? We want exposure, but we want it indirectly. But it also means, if they're signing those petitions, it also means that they are paying attention to the fact that we're becoming a little bit more educated now. So to dip our toe in the water means a spot ETF. Companies like Robinhood are doing things like adding dog with hat. I'm surprised that they added dog with hat and they weren't ready for bonk. I find that to be very interesting. But that's just me. But that means it's going to be open. It's going to open up those people to, those projects to more exposure. you have those same companies like, like Robinhood, like OKX, like Coinbase, like Kraken expanding over the world while Binance is still stumbling. I'm expecting over the next few weeks that Binance's growth, they're still going to be by far the number one, custodial company out there, or, exchange out there. But I still think that they're going to be diminished. Once you're number one, you can only fall. You feel me? You can only fall. And I think that's what's going to wind up happening. I don't think they're going to go away. And I don't think it'll be a long time before they lose that number one position. But it does mean that all of these other companies are going to start eating those leftovers. And it's okay to eat leftovers. Just do your own research. Just do it. Go over, look at my articles, go do some reading, go do all that stuff. It's not hard. It doesn't take a lot of time. Most of my videos are less than 20 minutes. Today is a little bit longer because it's a Sunday roundup, but my videos are really short and they give you a lot of information. And for every video that I shoot, there's actually an article or set of articles that I've already published ahead of that video. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I really hope that you like what I'm doing. If you do, please drop me a note. I love hearing from you. And really, truthfully, if you've got a critique that can help me get better, I would greatly appreciate that. Tell me how I can help you. I know what I'm doing helps my kids. I know what I'm doing helps my kids because I get little notes. Hey, Dad, have you been paying attention to Floki? Hey, Dad, have you been paying attention to Shib? Like, we have these conversations. And that's all I'm asking for, is to have the conversation. One of the people out there, one of my friends out there, what is it? Who is it? Charles? I think it was Charles. Asked me about QTUM, I think it's pronounced quantum or something like that. And he said, did you ever do any research on that? And I said, no, it's not even on my radar. So what did he do? He went and did the research and he came back and said, hey, can I put that on your YouTube thread? And I was like, yeah, you can. You absolutely can, but I think it would be better served if you put it over on growmybag.tv. And the reason why is because now we can all talk about it. We can all learn from it. Some of these platforms are only one-way streets. And I'm trying to build a whole ecosystem that's about bi-directional communication. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. This is Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag. Have a good one.